Alright guys, what is going on? It's Jacob here. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be one of a series of videos that I bring out basically exposing the truth about certain topics. Now today the topic is cutting. Okay, so today's video is going to be titled The Truth About Cutting. Now we're talking about cutting weight. We're talking about getting shredded, getting that six-pack abs out for summer, losing body fat. I think this is a topic that a lot of people are confused about. A lot of people don't know where to start. And the messages I put across, this is a little disclaimer, okay? I have not experimented with any performance-enhancing drugs, ever. No fat burners, no clenbuterol, no steroids, no pro-hormones, nothing like that. So these opinions are personal. I want to say from the get-go that diet and training is absolutely key. It's the fundamentals behind changing your physique, whether that be bulking up or cutting, and it's all you need to rely on, man. Diet is probably 75 to 80% of all the work that you're going to do when it comes to cutting body weight. Diet is key. Abs are made in the kitchen, guys. You've heard that? It's true. Okay, training comes a very distant second, I'm not going to lie. Unless you have a major goal of cutting weight whilst maintaining as much muscle as possible. In that case, macronutrient ratios in your diet is going to be important. Obviously, training just as hard as you did before you want to continue training just as hard as you did to put on the muscle to maintain it, especially in a caloric deficit and especially as a natural lifter. Okay, you don't have the help of exogenous hormones and testosterone to keep your testosterone jacked up, to keep the fullness in the muscle. Things change, but we're going to get into all of that. I probably just gave you half the video already. Let's get into the video. I have a habit of waffling, guys. I want to make this as concise and bullet point like as possible. So without further ado, let's get into it.
This is exclusive. Go! Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up.
Point number one, guys, and this is point number one, it's at the start, okay? Right at the start of your diet, you're going to have to determine what physical condition you are in, how much body fat you have to lose, and how long you want to do it in. Because depending on your current level of body fat when you start this diet, that's going to greatly determine then how drastic, how fast you're going to crack into it, whether you're going to do it in really, really slow steps to maintain as much of the good muscle mass as you want as possible, or for someone who's overweight or obese and doesn't really care about their muscle mass, fuck man, you can just crack into it really hard, okay, and there's not going to be too much of a risk of muscle loss. With that being said, there is no one answer for all. It's definitely going to be up to you, and you can take this information from this video and then make up your mind from that. So point number one would be, be realistic about how much you've got to lose and about what time frame you're going to want to lose it in, and then formulate a plan from that. Point number two, and it's following on from that one, the faster you want to lose weight, the more risk you have of losing your hard-earned muscle mass. If you are a bodybuilder, if you are trying to cut efficiently and maintain the muscle so that you bulk up, right? What you do in bodybuilding, you bulk up, you might get a bit fatter, but you put on that quality muscle underneath. Then you go into a cutting phase like we're talking about now. You cut off the body fat, you chisel away at your body, eventually cuts start coming in, and you maintain the muscle underneath, but you get rid of the body fat. So that can completely change your physique, and everyone's got muscle. Even someone who's not stepped in the gym before has muscle mass. So I think regardless of whether you're overweight, obese, lean already, I think maintaining your muscle does still have to be a priority, and that brings me to my next topic, which is macronutrient ratios. So 3 macronutrients in food, guys: protein, carbs, and fats. There are 2 of those 3 that are essential when losing body weight and maintaining muscle. You start with protein, and then you got fats. Once we talk about these 2 macros, then you can talk about how many grams of those macros you want, and after you've done that, then you can determine how many grams of the 3rd macronutrient you want in your diet, which is carbohydrates. So let's talk about protein first. Protein, I've always been a big believer of 1 gram per pound of lean body mass, okay? And then you can go up from there. So whether that's a male or a female, obese, freaking, lean, the lean body mass total is not going to change on your body, okay? You've got to determine that somehow. I mean, whether you look on the computer and find pictures of body fat percentages, whether you go and get a DEXA scan to get the exact body fat percentage. If you're talking about a 200 pound guy, 15% body fat, you're looking at 170 pounds of lean body mass. To maintain that during a cut efficiently, I think you should have at least 170 grams of protein in your diet. As far as fat goes, basically half that, okay? So we've got 0.3 to 0.5 grams of fat per pound of body weight. So once again, 200 pound guy, 15% body fat, is 170 pounds lean weight. We'll go 0.5 grams of fat per pound of body weight, we're looking at about 85 grams of fat. Okay, so that is the protein and the fat amount in your diet. Now, the rest is going to be made up of carbohydrates. So obviously, protein has a caloric value, carbs have a caloric value, and fat has a caloric value. Protein is around about 4 calories for every gram. Fat is 9 calories for every gram, and carbs is again 4 calories for every gram. So let's say you're aiming for 2,000 calories a day. Okay, so that protein amount, 170 grams, is 680 calories. We've got 85 grams of fat, so 8 nines is 72 plus 7, it's about 750, so 680, 750, what do we got, like 1,400 calories. You've got 600 calories worth of carbohydrates to play with, which is 150 grams. So that is an example of how you'd structure it. Once again, you need to know how much body fat you've got on you, how much muscle mass you've got on you, how many calories you want to diet on, which is going to be determined by the length of the diet and how drastic you want to do it. I mean, it is a science, guys. It's a science. If you want to take it seriously, you can take it seriously. If you don't want to take it seriously, you don't have to take it seriously, okay? If you don't want to take it seriously, you don't want to worry about any numbers, nothing. One thing that I like to go by is if you feel hungry and you feel shit, you're losing fat. Alright, if you feel fucking hungry and your stomach's rumbling, you're losing fat. It's as simple as that. You're not going to feel perfect when you're fucking losing weight. You're not going to feel 110% all the time. But with that being said, at the start of the diet, you can feel pretty damn good. One thing I do want to throw in there, and it's probably the most important thing I'm going to tell you guys, is this is all mental, man. It's you're changing your body physically, but to do that, you're going to have to make decisions in your brain mentally to then carry out this diet. Okay, so with that being said, at the start of a diet, it's very likely that you're going to look worse before you actually look better. Okay, so what I mean by that is if you are relatively lean-ish, so you can see muscle, you can see some lines before you start your diet. Once you go into a caloric deficit, especially as a natural, you don't have exogenous hormones and testosterone to keep your testosterone jacked up, to keep yourself looking full and pumped and vascular. Okay, these are things that I personally have to rely on my diet to do. Okay, certain carbs, salt, some pre-workout supplements that can help me with that. But anyway, regardless of that, you're gonna in those first few weeks, okay, when you drop the glycogen out of your muscles, your muscles aren't going to be as full as they were. They're not going to feel as tight. The pumps in the gym aren't going to be as good. So theoretically, 2 or 3 weeks into this diet, you might have been doing everything by the book, but you're still feeling and looking worse than when you actually started. And that is just honestly the fact of you're losing a little bit of fullness in your muscles. You haven't got lean enough yet to actually see the difference, and basically these are the times that you just got to trust the process. You really do. You need to use this to try and be as positive as possible on each day and trust the process. I mean, listen to me, put a plan in place and trust it. And it's advices like these, being told that you're going to feel flat, you're going to feel small at times, you're going to feel tired, you're going to feel hungry. You don't feel 100% all the time. Some people go into these diets thinking it's going to be fucking easy, and that's why, they any of these factors can come into play and they'll just quit. all right? And I don't want you to do that. So one piece of advice I'm gonna instill into you guys is a little quote that I've loved for a while. I tell people this all the time, and it is, don't count the days, make the days count, all right? And that definitely comes into play with dieting. You are gonna wake up in the morning some days feeling like shit. You're gonna feel like, well, whether you might have cheated the night before on your diet. If your diet is really important to you and you go on binge, that's gonna fuck you up mentally. But you wake up that next day and you think, shit, okay, there's no point crying over spilt milk. I can only do what I can on this particular day. You're gonna have to shut off those thoughts about the past and about the future. Try and stay in the present, get up, hit your cardio for the day, hit your meals, make sure you do your training, and definitely don't binge again. And it starts to become a mental game. It really does. So dieting can not only improve your physical appearance, but it's definitely also going to improve a successful diet followed through with can improve your mental fortitude a hell of a lot. So I'd have to recommend it. There's no feeling like saying you're going to do something and following through, especially with a diet. Like, you can actually literally physically change the way you look. It's amazing, it really is. And all you need is diet and training, nothing else. Finally guys, I'm going to talk about some of the negatives that come with dieting. Predominantly I'm talking to your average Joe, but obviously there's going to be some people that diet for like a bodybuilding show, and that is taking things to the absolute extreme. We're talking about 8, 7, even 5% body fat. And basically once you start, like, you might start at 30, 20% body fat, you start finding yourself getting abs, you're in shape, you're feeling good, and you're like, well shit, am I going to continue this and just basically put myself in more risk of losing muscle, or am I going to stop it now and transition back into a bulking period, or basically a maintenance period? I tend to assume that everyone watching these videos is a gym addict like me, but clearly there's a lot of you out there that aren't, and you just want to slim up, you just want to lean down for summer, etc, etc. You can definitely take these advices with you, but right now I'm going to talk about guys who take it to the extreme. Okay, we're talking 10% body fat or under. Now when you get to that point guys, this is going to come into play big time, okay, because you really are going to feel small. Okay, especially naturally. You go a week of low carbs, you're going to wake up that any morning throughout that week thinking, fuck, I feel skinny. You might you start waking up feeling hungry. Okay, you start going to bed feeling hungry, because if you still want to progress, those calories are going to have to slowly come down. And they do. People who tell you that they're dieting down to a competition weight and a competition level of body fat on a huge amount of calories, they're most probably lying. Or they're most probably fatter than they thought. I'm not joking. I used to think that I could get shredded on 3,000 or 3,200 calories, and yeah, I'm a bigger guy. Like, I was over 100 kg at 6'1", but that's still too many. All right, and there gets a point where you've just got to be realistic with yourself. Is this worth it? Is it really worth it dieting down, especially as a natural? Once you get down towards 7-6% body fat, I look at people and I just think, fuck, you guys are going to be feeling like shit right now. Like, it's just the reality of it, and the good comes with the bad. All right, you're going to look awesome on stage, but is it really worth it? Those extra few weeks to get yourself from 12 or 10% down to 5%, fuck me, that is a horror story. I'm not even joking. So that is the point. You're going to struggle to get a pump in the gym. You're going to feel fatigued, you're going to want to sleep during the day, food becomes, just everything to you. And that's one thing I also want to say, is that try not to make dieting, obsessive if possible. And I know that personally, when I go full force into something, whether that be bulking up, whether that be dieting, whether that be a new sport, I go 110% and I can't slow down. But what I'm saying is that if you want longevity into it, I'm trying to tell you guys to not do what I do, just do what I say. And a lot of people tend to say that. But anyway, basically I'm rambling again, right? So honestly, all I wanted to say there was, if you're competing, go for it. That's what to expect. If you're not competing, I would say anything under a 12 to 10% body fat range is too much, man. What's the point? You may as well save that time and fucking transition into a muscle building phase or a maintenance phase. And I hate to say it, but girls will definitely prefer a guy at 12 to 15% body fat than a real shredded fucking, you know, striations everywhere, veins everywhere looking kind of guy. It's just the truth. Like right now, guys, I'm at a nice body fat percentage. I'm probably about, I don't know, honestly I don't know, probably about 12% body fat. You know, there's still mass there. If I pushed this from 12 to 8 or 5% body fat, these arms would shrink. They'd fucking go to nothing, and I'd be waking up feeling those feels that I've felt before, waking up feeling skinny, waking up feeling like, what am I doing? I gotta stop this. And it's just no good, man. So I've dieted down from about 16, 18% body fat at the moment. I'm coming to the end of it, and that is why I'm making this video, to instill my beliefs and my attitudes to you. So with that being said, guys, this video has gone for far too long. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least taken something from it. If you have, please press the like button. It helps out a shitload. If you haven't, well, I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe. But before I go, there is one last thing I want to tell you guys, and I did touch on it before, but this is my final you know, little piece of advice. There is nothing wrong with being overweight. There's nothing wrong with being obese if you are truly happy. But there is also nothing like waking up in the morning, looking at yourself in the mirror and feeling happy about what you see, feeling satisfied, knowing that you've gone through a dieting period that wasn't easy, but you fucking stuck to it and you got the results. And imagine, you know, getting those compliments from people. Oh, you look good, or, you know, you've lost weight, or something like that. You know, just one of those compliments, one of those comments can change everything for you. You know, it can really lift you up. There is nothing as satisfying as setting out a plan, carrying out the plan, and reaping the rewards at the end. It's going to be completely up to you, but with the right tools and the right knowledge, you can do anything you want. Anyone can change their physique. One thing I do want to say, before you start the cut, make sure you take progress pictures, okay? If you don't like them, take them, man. One from the front, one from the side, the back, and the other side. Make sure you get head to toe at a good, you know, chest sort of height, so you can get a good angle. Make sure it's somewhere that you can continue taking pictures from into the future using the same light, the same angle, etc. And yeah, like I said, you take those first pictures, put them away, man. Put them away. Like, save them, don't delete them, because I tell you what, in 4 or 6 weeks time, when you're struggling, when you're thinking, I'm not making progress, take some more pictures, put them side by side, and you're gonna see a huge difference. And that's just gonna absolutely just, you know, fire you up for you to continue dieting and continue on your journey, your fitness journey. Alright guys, so I really am going now. I want to leave you with one thing. Alright, this is my body, that's your body, and you only get one. Only one. So treat it right. Peace.
This is
Exclusive.
go. Go. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.